From lying to millions about a game-breaking world record, to allegedly creating a toxic empire behind the scenes of feel-good philanthropy, some of the internet's most beloved creators have a past they'd rather keep buried. Today, we're exposing 6 YouTubers whom the internet absolutely adores, and the sins they've tried to quietly sweep under the rug. You might be shocked to find your favourite on this list. Some apologised, some denied, and some just let time do the healing. But whether it was a slip-up, a scandal, or a full-blown PR disaster, the internet never forgets. And the first story on our list, it's one of the quietest controversies, but one that says a lot about how easily a clean image can crack. Ryan Trahan. Ryan Trahan is often seen as the internet's minimalist sweetheart, from his viral Penny Across America challenge to launching cheerful startups and giving heartfelt monologues about life. But even in the cleanest corner of YouTube, the past has its shadows. Midway through that very challenge, one donor stood out. A user named Paul Dodds appeared to donate a staggering $150,000 to Ryan's fundraiser, instantly climbing to the top of the donation leaderboard. Then, just as quickly, he vanished. No explanation, no social media presence. His name was quietly removed from the leaderboard, and fans began speculating. Some believed it was a back-end glitch, others suggested foul play. No wrongdoing was ever proven, but the abrupt disappearance raised eyebrows. Then came Joyride, a candy brand Ryan launched in early 2024, claiming it was part of a new mission to make better-for-you sweets. But fans quickly discovered something odd. According to archived business records, Joyride was originally a brand called Project 7, launched back in 2008. It wasn't technically new, just rebranded. But that detail was nowhere in Ryan's launch messaging, leading fans to accuse him of misleading marketing. With a post on Reddit reading, "Does anyone else feel weird that Ryan Trahan is positioning Joyride as brand new but it's been around since 2008 and he's the new Chief Creative Officer?" To be fair, Ryan never explicitly denied Joyride's past, but the absence of transparency was enough to make his most devoted followers feel a little bit played. And while none of these sins point to malice, they do highlight an uncomfortable truth. Even the most genuine creators aren't always giving us the full story. And while Ryan's missteps felt like a human error with a learning curve, the next YouTuber on our list faced a controversy that questioned the core of his credibility. A creator who learned the hard way that early live streams don't stay buried. And that is Ludwig. If you know Ludwig Ahgren, you probably think of the guy who accidentally broke the internet by refusing to log off. The streamer who turned a simple thank you into a 31-day live broadcast and cemented himself as Twitch royalty. Ludwig became known for his mix of dry humor, competitive gaming, and community-focused content.
Boys, we have been going now officially for the entire month of February in terms of days. 28 full days of streaming live on twitch.tv. It's been a long journey, but it's going to come to an end officially.
But while today's Ludwig is the clean-cut face of YouTube's streaming scene, his early Twitch days weren't quite as polished. As his fame skyrocketed, old Twitch clips began to resurface, where he casually dropped slurs like the R-word in a joking tone.
That's a
At the time, his community brushed it off as edgy gamer talk. But as his audience grew, and as he signed a major exclusive deal with YouTube, critics from all sides took the opportunity to dig deeper into his past. Twitch loyalists labelled him a sellout, circulated his old clips to question whether he had really grown or just gotten better at managing his image. To his credit, Ludwig didn't dodge the criticism, and over time his authenticity, flaws and all, won most people back. Still, it was a classic example of how even a light-hearted streamer with a golden reputation can find himself haunted by words spoken long before the spotlight. But while Ludwig's controversy came from off-the-cuff moments and old habits, the next creator's stumble came from a very different place. A careful brand built on trust and science that nearly cracked under scrutiny. That creator is Mark Rober. Mark Rober is the internet's favourite wholesome scientist. The guy who taught us about elephant toothpaste, tracked down package thieves, and made engineering cool again. His videos are clean, educational, and meticulously produced, which makes what happened in 2018 kind of surprising. It started with a viral video.
This guy took a package from my porch, and now he's about to open it in his car, but what he doesn't know is this is a custom-built bait package that is recording him on 4 different cameras, and it's about to unleash a pound of the world's finest glitter, along with some other surprises.
Robber had built a sophisticated sting operation targeting porch pirates. But once the video hit millions of views, internet sleuths dug into the details. It turns out one of the collaborators Robber worked with allegedly staged parts of the sting footage. Some of the supposed thieves' reactions were acted out. While Robber wasn't the one faking clips, he had included that footage in his video without proper verification. To his credit, he immediately took action. He trimmed the questionable scenes and issued a public apology. But for someone whose brand is built entirely on trust and precision, even a single lapse made viewers uneasy. It didn't cancel him. In fact, many fans praised how transparently he handled it. But the incident revealed how even the most calculated creators aren't immune to getting caught in the chaos of going viral. But while Mark's misstep was tied to someone else's actions, the next creator's controversy was all him. And it involved one of the most dramatic cheating accusations in YouTube history. Let's talk about Dream. Dream rose from the depths of Minecraft fandom to royalty faster than almost anyone expected. His speedruns, unique edits, and charismatic style made him a beacon for millions of young gamers worldwide. But in late 2020, Dream's glittering image came crashing down with a scandal that rocked the Minecraft community. The accusation: he had manipulated the game to beat a world record under unfair conditions. Initially, Dream denied all allegations with fierce conviction.
Probability. Probability is the measurement of how likely something is to happen. Recently, one of my speedruns that I did on Twitch has been analyzed by the speedrun.com volunteer mod team and deemed as improbable to a degree that is nearly impossible. So lucky, in fact, that they came to the mathematical conclusion that it had 1 in 7.5 trillion odds of happening. So they put out a video and a long document talking about it, and this is my response.
He challenged the moderators, questioned the data, and fired back against critics with unwavering confidence. But as the evidence mounted and the community's trust wavered, Dream shifted his tone. Months later, he admitted to unintentionally using modded tools that gave him an edge, a claim that left many fans conflicted.
Earlier today, Dream finally admitted to cheating his 1.16 speedrun, and in a nearly 3,000-word apology claimed that it was all just an accident. He modded the game, accidentally left those mods on during his speedruns, and haven't we heard this story before?
And the scrutiny didn't end with the cheating scandal. When Dream finally revealed his face to the world in late 2022, some longtime fans felt a disconnect between the mysterious figure they had imagined and the real person behind the avatar, while others defended his decision to show vulnerability and step out from behind the mask. This reveal underscored just how much the internet's fascination with persona and mystery can shape, and sometimes strain, the relationship between creator and audience. But if you think Dream's story is a lesson in the dangers of fame and scrutiny, our next creator on this list presents a different kind of challenge. A philanthropy empire accused of having a darker side lurking behind the generosity. That creator is MrBeast. MrBeast has built an empire on generosity, curing blindness, building schools and homes, providing water supply, planting millions of trees, and inspiring a new wave of creators focused on philanthropy. His videos are often feel-good stories that brighten the internet, but behind the scenes, different stories have emerged. But what happens when kindness starts to feel calculated? As his videos grew more ambitious, some viewers, and even collaborators, and probably haters, began asking uncomfortable questions. Was it all truly authentic? Multiple former employees have come forward, describing a workplace culture that's far from the smiles we see on screen. They speak of unrealistic deadlines, high-pressure demands, and a work environment where mistakes were met with public embarrassment rather than support. Contestants on some of MrBeast's challenges also reported feeling manipulated. Some say producers encouraged drama or withheld information to make the content more sensational. Let's start with one that sparked serious debate. The pizza delivery guy video. MrBeast handed the worker several $1,000s in tip money, but behind the scenes, clips surfaced showing Jimmy telling him exactly how to react.
Now be like shocked, like have your hands over your face, like you're emotional as you can be. So like, have your hand reaching for it and then like be like shocked, like you're, yeah.
Critics say it was less a moment of spontaneous generosity and more like performance coaching. Moments like these led to deeper suspicions about how real MrBeast's content really is. That suspicion grew when multiple contestants and viewers alleged that many of his challenge participants aren't randomly selected, but are actually his own staff or inner circle. In other words, some giveaways were never as unpredictable as advertised. And that's not all. In 2024, former employee Dogpack404 released a trilogy of videos with the aim of exposing inconsistencies in MrBeast videos. In one of them, he called out the use of VFX and post-production trickery in MrBeast videos, claiming certain stunts were staged or CGI enhanced while being sold as real life. One example, in the Train vs Giant Pit video, Dogpack404 pointed out that the final collision didn't seem physically accurate. Another case is the Buried Alive for 7 Days video, where critics speculated the timelines were stitched together or that safety crews were constantly on standby, despite the narrative suggesting extreme risk. Then the internal accusations, former employees speaking out about a toxic workplace culture. Some described intense pressure, harsh feedback, and feeling disposable. Even some contestants from his reality-style competition show claimed they were coached on how to react, denied basic needs, or manipulated behind the scenes to fit a story arc. And when he launched charity efforts, like digging wells in Africa, he was accused of abandoning projects without follow-up and using philanthropy as a PR tool rather than building long-term support.
So MrBeast made a bunch of wells in Africa, and it turns out they have not been maintained and are no longer working.
Locals have reported that nearly every well donated by MrBeast has become abandoned.
MrBeast has denied many of the claims, responding on Twitter that he's constantly improving, has fired toxic team members, and reinvests everything into helping more people. But as his empire grows, so do the questions. Is it possible to be this generous without staging some of it? Can philanthropy and YouTube algorithms truly coexist? One thing's for sure, MrBeast changed YouTube forever, but even the most beloved faces can have shadows behind the spotlight. And speaking of legacy, our final creator built one of the biggest audiences in history, only to nearly lose it all in a single moment. Let's talk PewDiePie. PewDiePie isn't just a YouTuber, he was once the YouTuber. With over 100 million subscribers and a fan base that shaped the platform's culture, Felix Kjellberg was the king of online entertainment. But with great power came a dangerous spotlight. And in 2017, that spotlight nearly burned it all down. It started with a joke gone too far, when PewDiePie paid 2 men on Fiverr to hold a sign that said, "Death to all Jews." Felix said it was a satirical experiment, meant to show how absurd and dangerous online services could be when taken to extremes. But satire or not, the world didn't laugh. The reaction was immediate and harsh. Disney dropped him, YouTube removed his premium show, Scare PewDiePie, and pulled him from their advertising platform. Media outlets labelled him dangerous, and advocacy groups condemned the content as reckless and harmful. Felix responded with a direct apology, admitting the joke missed the mark, but also accused the media of taking him out of context. But things didn't cool off. Months later, in 2017 again, while live streaming a game of PUBG, Felix blurted out the N-word in frustration, live, uncensored, to tens of thousands of viewers.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck?
This time, even fellow creators called him out. Jacksepticeye, H3H3, and others publicly said he needed to take greater accountability. The backlash wasn't just from the press, it came from his own peers. Felix once again apologised, calling his language unacceptable, and saying he was disappointed in himself.
Hello, I wanted to make a statement on what I said in my previous live stream. You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature and stupid, and I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming as well. It was something that I said in the heat of the moment. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out. And I'm not going to make any excuses to why it did, because there are no excuses for it.
And if that wasn't enough, people started combing through his content. claiming he was subtly promoting alt-right ideologies by referencing questionable creators and memes. Whether he meant it or not, Felix was now associated with a dangerous political space, and some believed he was radicalizing fans without realizing it. But here's where things shifted. PewDiePie took a noticeable step back from controversy. He stopped referencing politics, apologized multiple times, donated to the Anti-Defamation League, then controversially rescinded it after backlash from his own fans, and leaned into safe, light-hearted content. Over the years, he rebuilt his reputation not by erasing his past, but by consistently showing he had changed. Today, PewDiePie is semi-retired, living in Japan with his wife and child. He posts minimally and drama-free. He may never be uncancelled in the eyes of the media, but to millions of fans, he's proof that even the biggest creators can learn, grow, and move forward.